Bill Doherty, and I want to welcome the viewers for another edition of Bill's Bullpen. Bill's Bullpen is a program that's intended to provide viewers with some idea of what's going on both locally and regionally. And today I have with me Caren Berry. What do you do, Caren?
Bill, I am the founder of Colorful Kidz. We're a children's nonprofit located in East Sandwich. And basically what we do is we make over rooms for children in need.
Why would you do that?
So a couple of years ago, I went over to India. I volunteered at an orphanage, and it was an amazing experience. But I met children.
Did you meet Mother Teresa?
No, I didn't meet Mother Teresa,
Okay.
but I certainly was in an area that she had been in. And so after spending time there, I was there for a month. When I came back home, I just wanted to do something more for the children here. And I believe everybody has a gift or talent that should be shared. And mine is interior design, interior decorating.
Okay, everybody should understand that there's a significant difference between interior design and interior decoration. One of the few things I learned when I went to the architecture school, because an interior designer holistically looks at how everything fits together, or a decorator just sort of plugs things in to different points. Have I got that pretty much?
Yes.
Okay. So as an interior designer, you know, you're bringing a skill that you have to this, and you say it's for kids, all kids, or is there a specific what I'd call category that you're looking at?
So the children that we help, their ages are 2 to 18 years of age. We work with kids from the foster care system. We work with a lot of the service agencies in the area. So we work with Department of Children and Family Services. We work with schools, school counselors. So basically we serve children that are in need. Excuse me. So we work with kids that have disabilities, chronic illnesses, kids that have lost their parents, kids that maybe have been through a fire or flood. When we meet these kids, this is the neat thing, when we meet the kids, once we have permission, we go into the home, we only interview the kids. And that allows us to create a space just for them.
That is so important. I spent some time learning how to be a mediator. And one of the issues that I found when I spent a lot of time in retirement being a substitute teacher in middle school, I found that kids don't really have what I'd call an ability to clearly articulate what's going on. Some of the strategies in order to get, to draw a kid out would be, what other means can a kid communicate? Art was was an obvious choice, and of course I had observed that kids would get up to a blackboard and have to cover it with all kinds of designs and chalk and so forth, and really there's another thing that sort of threads through all of this: self-esteem.
Absolutely.
Kids in let's say from what I saw in fifth grade, which I loved, was kids that would be old enough to get stuff and young enough to be compliant, and then hormones and horseshit would rise up like septic ooze in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And during that period of time, you begin to see how vulnerable children are. So tell me what happens when you interview a kid.
So this is where my background comes in handy. So what happens is we have permission to interview the children. When we go into the house, we just meet with them. And so because I'm an interior designer, what I'm also doing is I'm meeting the kids, but I'm also observing and assessing the space. So for instance, one of the kids' rooms that we did recently, he had just this really interesting collection of rocks. So I'm looking around, I'm looking to see if the kids have collections. They may not verbalize and say, oh, that's what I do and stuff, but I can tell by their collections things that they're interested in. So it could be that they have a series of t-shirts in their closet that has all different musical genres on it. So, and that tells me about the child. So, and again, we're complete strangers when we go into the house, so it takes a while for the kids to warm up to us. Excuse me, all of a sudden I have a dry throat. But, so it's also interesting because like you said, the kids don't, this is such a big opportunity for them that they get overwhelmed. Sometimes they don't even know what to ask for. But I will tell you that our kids don't ask for iPads. They're not asking for computers. They're asking for simple things like mattresses. We've had kids ask for new flooring. We've had kids ask for bedding. We get commonly asked for pillows. So it's amazing that these are such simple things, but these are the things the kids want. So
Stop right there. When you say kids are asking, I find that incredible.
it is incredible.
Now, I've always had let's say a gender bias that women and girls love pillows and guys don't. Is there also that tendency?
This is not. We just. I just interviewed a family, and it was a family of boys, and they all asked for new beds. So their mattresses may be on the floor. They may have beds that aren't sturdy, or sometimes their beds just shake and they want something more stable. And this is where, so we use recycled furniture in our room makeovers, and this is another really great thing. So a lot of the old beds on the Cape, we got the headboard, the footboards, the rails, that's a stable piece of furniture, and the kids really appreciate that.
I know that St. Margaret's has a in their thrift store does have furniture, and I'm sure that other thrift stores have a certain amount of furniture. Because one of the problems with mattresses is that you can't recycle them. You have to throw them out. So that means that has to be new.
Yeah. So that's our most expensive piece to buy for the kids, and and giving the kids a new mattress means that maybe they don't have allergies anymore. Some of these mattresses that we see, they're tough, and it's really tough. A lot of times the mattresses are handed down. So just these kids getting a new fresh mattress makes such a difference to them physically. And then just comfort-wise, it's more comfortable for the children to sleep on, especially if they have an illness or a chronic illness. But just in general, we're creating a cleaner environment for the kids. So part of what we do too is yes, we go in, we do these incredible room makeovers, but we go in, we start by doing a deep clean of the room. So we give the kids we give them a fresh start. We have a cleaning crew, then we go in and we have the ability to put down a new floor, we paint the walls, and on the last day, what we usually do is we try and get the kids out of the house, and then we do a room reveal for them. And no matter how old the kids are, even if they're little kids, they know that
you would have some sort of reaction from the kids.
Absolutely.
Now, do you record those reactions?
We do. We do.
Well,
And we can't do it for all our children because of privacy reasons and stuff, but we certainly can. So we do, and we always have permission to record the room makeover. So we're able to show people what it looks like at the beginning, where we started and where it ended. But it's not just so we're not just creating these pretty rooms, these decorative rooms. We're adding lighting so that the kids can read in their room. We're adding a surface where they can do their homework. We're adding a place where they can maybe sit with a friend and do their homework or play a game with a sibling. And also too, when we do these, now the children spend time in their rooms, and it makes a difference.
Okay, no, it turns out that my Caren daughter was evaluated for allergies, and she had a down pillow, and we had to change it to a a memory foam pillow, because of that.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with some of this.
Yeah.
I guess that we'll probably show some reaction photos of the kids,
Seeing their rooms,
as they respond to it. Now, do the kids ever get involved in any of the refinishing part?
So they don't directly get involved in refinishing for their own room, but we've had siblings help in our workshop work on other siblings' rooms. We've also had, we don't always allow it, but in certain situations we'll allow the parents to help work on the room or the caregiver. And then that way they're invested.
Okay, so this all is done by volunteers. It magically just appears. You ever have to raise money for this?
So I said the number one thing, the most expensive thing that we put into the room is the children's new mattresses. We give them new mattresses, new bedding and stuff. So yes, we're a nonprofit. We are always raising money.
And how are you raising money recently?
Well,
or lately?
So
let's say the next couple of days.
So we have a signature fundraiser, and it's called Cape Cod Flips. It's a take on a popular TV show. And what
popular TV? Enlighten me, because I'm an old guy. I never heard of this.
So it's a take on a TV show called Flea Market Flip. It's just, we've been doing it for a long time. There's HGT has had a television show, and so we have our own version on Cape Cod. So can I tell you about it?
Why not?
So on a Saturday morning, we send 4 teams out to shop local yard sales. We give them X amount of dollars. They have to go out and find 3 pieces of furniture. Then they come back to our workshop. We have a team of volunteers waiting for them. We have a handyman carpenter to help them refurbish their pieces. They've got 1 week to complete their pieces. And then a few weeks later, the teams compete against each other to sell their pieces to the general public. So the people that do this, they're interior designers, they're DIYers, they're just people that love to go to flea markets and yard sales. It's a lot of fun.
It's also a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
Some of us who have done this in the past
Yep.
and haven't done it for a long time. But anyway, as my father would, pointed out to me, at the time, when he had me refinish some raggedy old pieces of furniture,
Yep.
Growing up, there's an enormous amount of satisfaction when you complete
Absolutely.
the work.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is that although you might resent what I would call heavy supervision, you really need that in the beginning to understand that the quality of the work is based upon the amount of energy and time you put into it.
Correct. However, nowadays they have Instagram and TikTok. These 2 areas of social media teach people so much, and even we learn from people that come in and volunteer for us to how to refinish furniture and to learn different tricks. But the amount of talent and how many people out there refinish furniture and love to do this is huge.
Well, I guess that's something I didn't realize. I know that over time I've used a lot of used furniture. There is an issue sometimes with anything that has any what I call cloth material in it, because we live in an environment that that is subjected to a lot of moisture and moisture control. Okay.
So typically for our contest, right, that would be that's upholstery. That's like a big job for people, and we don't really have time for that. But it's not unusual for people to take an old piece of furniture, repurpose it, maybe turn it into a bar. Or one of our projects, which I absolutely thought was amazing, was this team turned an old dry sink into a little stove for a kid. And it was amazing. They used a dog bowl for the sink, and then at the yard sale they found a faucet, and they made the door a chalkboard and stuff. This was one of the cutest pieces I've ever seen.
What was the outcome of it?
So they turned the dry sink into a little kitchen, a little
kitchen.
little stove. Yes. So
now, what did they? Was it propane or?
So no. So not real. So they
it's
refinished
a
the
toy
furniture.
stove.
No. So they went out in our contest. They went out. They found a dry sink. They brought the dry sink back to our location, and they refurbished it into this piece of furniture for a child. And it
Okay.
was absolutely adorable.
All right.
And what ended up happening is at the competition, this couple came in and they were like, oh, we don't have a little kid. So they paid for it. They negotiated with the teams and they bought it. And then they donated it back to us, and we were able to use it in one of our room makeovers for one of our kids. And it was absolutely precious.
How old are these kids?
So the children that we help are 2 to 18 years of age.
2?
2 years to 18.
So on the 2-year-old kid, how do they respond to that?
So kids know that we're doing something. I mean, it's amazing. We had one dad, he was a single dad, he had a young son. It was so adorable when we did the room reveal, and the little boy went around and he just looked at everything. He touched everything, he climbed into his new bed, he pulled open the drawers, he just, we leave. So the other thing is when we do the room makeovers, we're also looking for tangible things. So maybe we'll do a wooden race car set, or maybe we'll do a vintage puzzle. The kids like things that are tactile, and so those are some of the things that we incorporate into the room makeovers. But like I said, our ages go from 2 to 18. We did another room makeover not too long ago, and we have volunteers that volunteer from home. And again, kids are tough, and this kid was
they are, yeah.
So, and teenagers are, you know what I mean? So we've had kids say, oh, just paint my room black. I'm like, no, we're Colorful Kidz. We do more than that. But this one kid, He got so excited over the fact that we put a bureau in the room just for him. But we surprised him with other things. When I was there, I knew that the kid gamed. Somebody had donated a gaming chair. We were able to put that in the room for him. I mean, he was so shocked and so thrilled when he saw that we had done something so specific for him.
Yeah, I have to say that, in my, time as a substitute teacher, I saw that kids really respond to one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, there's that business about, I know a lot of kids that, that acted out, that I observed, were acting out in school because it was a safe place for them, which brings up, how do you...
So, but just on that note, now we've created a safe space for them at home. So now they have their room, which maybe they weren't spending time in before because the furniture wasn't right or it was cluttered or something, We go in, we clean the room for these kids, we create a space just for them. So we just did, and a little boy, he was just a young boy and stuff. He wanted a desk in his closet. He wanted that enclosed space. We cut a kitchen table in half. We fitted it inside the closet. We gave him a rolling chair. And so we gave him a DVD player so he could get them at the thrift store, DVDs, like uplifting movies, fun family movies. And we created that space for him. We just got the thank you, and that was one of the things that the dad said. He really loves that space that you created for him. Both kids love their room, but he loves that space.
Everybody, well, if you've ever had animals, especially crates, for dogs, there is something about having your own space and how important it is that belongs just to you. In terms of, let's say, the next step, we spend a lot of time talking about having more communication, direct communication, let's say, among both children and adults. Does what you do contribute to that?
So does it make an impact on the whole family? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
So absolutely. So so this is really cool. So we've gone in and we've done one room for a child. And then we've seen it kind of elevates the house. It doesn't always, but sometimes it does. We've gone back, the house is cleaner. Maybe the parents have done something to improve their room or another space in the house. So we went to one house, we did one child's room. 2 years later, we did another child's room. What a difference between what we first saw and what it ended up with. We've done work where there's multiple kids in the family. Again, we do one room, then we do another room, and again, it just elevates the house. And while we're working in the house, it gives the parents or the guardian an incentive to do something too. They see this change and it really uplifts them. So we know that it's having a positive impact.
Now, does the person have to have a house that they own, or can it be done in an
So we're
apartment?
so proficient at, we work in rentals all the time because that's, because, and again, some of our kids can't even stay in their spaces long. You know what I mean? Just so it could be a domestic violence situation and stuff. We have to prepare the room, again, in such a way that they can take the furniture with them, or maybe not hang something permanently on the wall. So we've got it down to a science now. And, but it's pretty incredible what we do, because just the reaction that we see with these kids, they're so incredibly happy when they see their space.
Now, you're the founder of this. What kind of staff level do you have?
Amazing, amazing. Our volunteers are typically 60 to 80 years of age. They refinish
young folks.
Right? So they refinish the furniture in the workshop. They're dedicated to that. Then they have to load the furniture into our van. Then they have to take it to the work site, we call it. Sometimes they have to carry it up 2-3 flights of stairs. When we get into the room, we clean the space, we repair the walls, we put down a new floor, then we have to put the furniture in there, and then we have to decorate the room. There is so much work that goes into this, and these volunteers are amazing.
I bet they are. My goodness, you're so fortunate to find these people.
Yeah.
Now, is your work confined to Barnstable County, to Cape Cod?
So we do. So we are small. We're still, we're 4 years old. We come over the bridge. We come where the referrals are. We don't go beyond Plymouth, though. So we do serve
Where are you physically located?
So we're located in East Sandwich. If it's an
right here, yeah.
And again, so we go down as far as Chatham, and so we work with so many different organizations. We work with homeless organizations that have finally been able to house people. So we'll go where the need is. We do this year we're destined to do 24 room makeovers. We're halfway there, and then there's multiple children in the room. So and sometimes sometimes even the parents are sharing the space. So we just make it work.
Yeah, I know that that there are a lot of organizations that are concerned with housing, and it's what I'd call adequate housing, and that certainly has been a problem over time. The surveys that they've taken in Barnstable County usually have, let's say, food insecurity, congestion, and housing have always been in the top three, or let's say at least the top five, in over the many years that I've looked at those surveys. So improving the quality of life even in a small way is very important.
So, but the other thing that you touched on, so if there's multiple people sharing the same space, we've been able to divide that space so that it works for both. Sometimes we'll put a partition between the beds, we'll put a desk in the room so each child has a space that's for them, just for them. They might get their own bookshelf, so they get their own bedding. So you might like one thing, your brother might like something else. That's how we do it, and yeah.
Okay, so that part of discrimination, as far, and I mean that in a positive way, is very important, because one of the things, and having raised children, one of the things that's very important is that this belongs to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
This is mine, and that sense of ownership, is very important, because I've seen the part of a security that a kid has, at least from my own children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, because I did see recently two of my great-grandchildren sort of have a discussion about a piece, say a toy, as to who it belongs to, and they're chasing each other with it, So it does, I've noticed it over several generations now. Okay, so let's see. So we've already talked about how the kids are reacting to it. Let's see, and we'll show some pictures of that. Let's talk a little bit more about this event you're proposing.
Okay. All right, so this is our 4th year for doing it. So again, it's called Cape Cod Flips for Colorful Kidz, and we're looking for DIYers. We're looking for people that love to shop flea markets. We're looking for people that like to refinish furniture. So husbands and wives, partners, friends, people that just want to get together, make a team, and then compete in this event. So we send the teams out on September 6th from our location. We give them X amount of dollars. They go out, they have 3 hours to shop. They have to find, like I said, 3 pieces of furniture. They call it in, we have a pickup truck, go pick up their furniture, they bring it back to our shop, and then, like I said, we've got a team of volunteers there to assist them and a handyman carpenter. And so then the teams have 1 whole week. They can come after work. A lot of people work, or just they can come during the week to work on their pieces of furniture. And then 3 weeks later, the teams will compete against each other at Cape Cod Coffee in Mashpee. And so we'll have the 4 teams. They'll be all set up, and people can go. So if you've seen the TV show, people get to mark their pieces, and let's say something's $250. Somebody might come up to you and say, "Cheapers, I only want to give you $200 for that." So the teams have to decide whether or not they're going to take that money, because it's also a competition. They want to win the competition, but they want to raise money for Colorful Kidz at the same time. So whichever team raises the most money wins the competition. Great prizes, and of course bragging rights, but it's just fun. It's just, like I said, we've been doing it for 4 years. Our contestants run the gamut, and we want people to apply. The deadline is August 9th at midnight.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about how do you get in touch with you in order to participate?
So all the details are listed on our website. So it's colorfulkids.org, and there's a link to click. And when you do that, you have to read the eligibility requirements and the rules, and just to make sure that you're available for the time that is needed to make this happen.
Okay, talk a little bit about the eligibility.
So so you have to be available for both weekends. You have to be available the day the contestants go out, and then you also have to be available to sell your pieces.
Okay.
So, and we're asking people to send in 1 picture of something that they've already done. So it could be that they've stenciled a wall in their bathroom. It could be that they've finished a piece of furniture or created a piece of art. They're going to send us that piece. They're going to send us a photo, and then depending on, well, it's going to be judged. We're going to figure out who we think is the best. We're also interested in people that are fun, people that just love to do this, that have a passion. We want this to be a fun event for everybody. And so we're asked, so 18 plus is the age limit that we're looking for. So starting at 18, again, we just want people to be available for this. And yeah, so this year that's what we're doing. Next year maybe we'll do kids, but right now we're still doing adults.
Let's go through the time frame here. In order to participate, you have to apply by
August 9th at midnight.
At midnight, and you get the details of where and how to apply from your website.
Correct.
Which will probably you'll see on the lower thirds,
Yep.
on the picture.
Yep.
And then after you've applied,
Yep.
there's a sorting process.
Correct. We're going to notify people the very next day if they've been selected.
Okay.
But everybody that submits something, it becomes public property for us, and we get to use it as a promotion. So it's a nice way to show your work as well. But we're looking for people that just really want to have fun, enjoy this, and yeah.
Okay. So you told, and then the actual competition of the let's say the presenting of the whatever they're going to present is on what date?
So it's on September 27th at Cape Cod Coffee in Mashpee.
Cape Cod Coffee.
Coffee in Mashpee.
Where is that?
So it's on Route 130. It's just over the bridge, or it's on this side of the bridge. It's they have a great big location. They have a great restaurant, and they have a whole area in the back, and that's where we'll be.
In Mashpee?
Yep.
I know Mashpee Commons.
Yep. So they have a location in Mashpee Commons, but this is on Route 130. It's on Evergreen Street.
Oh, so
Evergreen Circle.
So it's in Sandwich.
No, it's in Mashpee. And also,
I guess I'm getting confused.
nope, so it's on Route 130, Evergreen Circle. There's a great big Cape Cod Coffee right there.
Okay. All right, and so that's where you would present the work.
Right. So we have vendors that day. It's a family-friendly event. We'll have face painting. We'll have lots of things for the families.
Oh, it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so and September 27th is a say still relatively warm.
So you're forgetting the most important thing.
No, what is that?
That is that Born TV is filming it this year and turning it into a TV show.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So now we get to the point where, what is the main takeaway you would want folks to have from this program?
So, well, the main takeaway is I believe everybody has a gift and talent that needs to be shared with somebody else. That's why we're here. That's the main takeaway. But if you want to be a contestant, visit colorfulkidz.org.
Okay, well, I think that says it all.
Thank you.
So, Caren, I appreciate your coming. I hope we got all the important stuff across, because you've talked a lot about participation and the fact that everybody deserves to have, in my opinion, a space that just belongs to them.
100%.
Okay, and that I think that there's a certain amount of security in that, where you, what is that saying about home is where they have to take you in?
Home is where the heart is.
Well, that's true too. But there is that part about having security of a place that is designed and, let's say, that belongs to you, so that you have that to fall back on whatever you do. So, okay, so folks, I'm Caren, and as the founder of Colorful Kidz, that I hope that people who have been listening will take advantage and participate. And I know that there's a lot of folks out there that could really, get a lot out of it, and enjoy this, and also participate in what I would call improving the quality of life for people that will perhaps benefit more than you can realize about getting a good start in life. So, Caren, thank you very much for coming,
Bill,
and
thank
thank
you.
the viewers for watching yet another production of Born TV.